Good day to you, my beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time you are coming across my channel or seeing this face, you are welcome. And please do well to subscribe. Subscription is absolutely free. So subscribe and welcome to the family. You are really going to enjoy it here. And to my returning subscriber, thank you so much for your continuous support. I really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. So on today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this beautiful outfit you are seeing right here on the screen right now. It's a conical corset, yeah, with a cinched waist. Trust me, it's a detailed video as usual. You know how we do it in Decency Apparel. Detailed with full working. So it's gonna be a lengthy video, so it's going to have part 1 and part 2. The part 1 is where we are going to draft it and cut it. Then the part 2 is where we are going to sew it. I don't want us to miss anything. I don't want to leave any stone unturned, especially for my beginners and the intermediates here. So if you watch the part 1 and part 2 and you don't miss any of the video, you are going to be able to make something more beautiful than this for yourself. Trust me. So without much further talk, let's just head over to the video right now. Oh yeah, let's go. And here is the pattern paper that we are going to use for drafting. The first one we are going to draft right now is the front bodice. Yeah, the front bodice is what we are going to draft right now. The length of my pattern paper is the length of the top I want to make plus few inches, like 3 to 4 inches. Then the width of my pattern paper, my bust divided by 4 plus few inches allowance, like 4 to 5 inches. Then the first measurement we are going to take now, we are going to, this is my starting point. I'm going to mark my bust point from the shoulder. That starting point from me to 10 inches is my bust point length. That is what I'm marking right now. Then from that shoulder again to 14 inches is my under bust. That is what I'm marking right now. From the shoulder to 14 inches is my under bust length. That is what I just marked down. And from the shoulder again to 17.5 inches is my waist length. That is what I just marked. I'm also going to impute the same measurement at the other side so that I can connect my line straight. 10 inches for my bust point length, 14 inches for my under bust length, and 17.5 inches for my waist length. After that, the next one I'm going to mark is from the shoulder line to 24 inches. 24 inches is my hip length. That is what I just marked now, and I will also mark it at the other side. From the starting point to 24 inches is my hip length. That is what I just did. Then the next thing I will do now is to outline all the points that I measured: the bust point, the under bust, the waist length, and the hip length. I'm going to outline it right now. After that, I made the lines more bolder so that you'll be able to see the lines properly, understand. This is my nipple line. From the shoulder to this 10 inches is my nipple line. From the shoulder to 14 inches is my under bust. And from the shoulder to 17.5 inches is my waistline. From the shoulder to top length is 25 inches. So after that, the next thing we are going to mark now is our shoulder. So I'm going to place my shoulder measurement right here. My shoulder is 16. It's assumed our paper is being folded into 2. So my shoulder divided into 2 is 8. So I'm going to place the 8 there. So I'm marking 8 inches here for my shoulder. And after that, I'm going to mark my neckline. I'm going to use 3 inches for my neck. This is the neck width. From here to here is your neck width. From here to here is your neck depth. So I'm going to use 3 by 3. 3 by 3 is actually the basic neckline. But you can feel free to use any neckline you want. But the basic is 3 by 3. And I'm curving it out to here. You can go ahead and use any neckline of your choice. After that, from the shoulder, to get a shoulder slant, from that 8 inches, you are going to come down by 1 inch. Then from that 1 inch, you connect. Please use your straight line to do this. Ignore me, I didn't find my straight ruler, so that is why I'm using another alternative. I have to improvise to be able to do this video. So you connect. After you come down from 1 inch, from this shoulder line, you come down by 1 inch and connect to your neck width to get your shoulder slant. Then after that, the next thing you are going to do is to come down from here to get your armhole line. For you to know what you input from here to get your armhole line, what you measure is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. So after dividing my bust and adding after dividing my bust by 6 inches and adding 1.5, what I got is 8. So that is what I'm going to place here. From that shoulder slant, from this shoulder slant, you're going to come down by 8 inches. Here I came down by 8 inches. From that shoulder slant, that is where you're going to mark from. I came down by 8 inches. And for you to be accurate, that 8 you got here, you have to place it here. At that 8 inches you came down by, you measure the same thing you measure at the shoulder, you measure it down here and you mark. Then you connect. Then you connect with a straight line. You also extend the line. This will be your chest line. This will now be my chest line. This is now my chest line. Okay. After that, we are going to get our armhole curve. And to get our armhole curve, I'm going to divide my bust into 4. So it's 8 divided by 4. I got 9.5. When I divide my bust into mark the 9.5 here. And after marking your bust circumference here, the next thing you are going to do is to measure from this shoulder slant to the chest line. You measure from this shoulder slant to the chest line. I got 8. And after getting 8, I'm going to divide that 8 into 2. And after dividing into 2, I got 4. So you place back your tape and mark that 4 here. Then after marking it, the next thing you do is to, from that place you marked, from this place you marked, you go in by ½ inch. You go in by ½ inch. From that 4 you marked, you come inside by ½ inch. Then you bring your curve ruler and you place this way. You place this way. From the shoulder slant to the ½ inch and all the way to. Then the next thing we are going to mark is at this under bust. We are going to place the same chest circumference here, this 9.5. We are going to mark it also at this under bust. We're also going to mark it at this waistline. Don't worry, I'm going to explain later why we are marking the same. So I marked the same bust circumference I marked at the chest line. I marked it at the under bust and marked it at the waistline. I want us to contour our waist to have that contour effect, that tiny waist effect. That is what I'm trying to do right here. Then on the hip line, you measure half. My hip is 44, so divide by 4 is 11. We're still going to extend this hip, but I just want to mark this now to after marking it this way. This is what you do. Connect from that hip I connected from the hip to the waist. Anyway, then see what we have. I mark the same thing. I mark the same bust circumference I mark at the chest line. I mark it at the underbust, mark it at the waistline. But at the hip, I marked my exact hip. I marked my exact hip. I did not add anything. I marked my exact hip. Then, to get that contour effect, what we're going to do is, at this waistline, I'm going to come in by 1 inch. After coming in by 1 inch at that waistline, what you're going to do is to get your straight ruler and connect from the 1 inch to the chest line. Just like so. It's a slanted line. This is how you place it. Then the next thing is to bring your curve ruler and connect the way you see me do now. Place your ruler this way and connect it like this. You first connect to the down part, then place it the other way and connect it to the waist, just like so. I'm going to blend out the line properly so that you can see it very well. I'm going to blend it. We are going to clean that first line we marked because we have gotten the line we need. We have contoured our waist, so I'm going to clean out this line just as you see me do now. As you can see, we have contoured our waist. So the next thing to mark now is our bust span. My bust span is 8 and divided by 8 divided by 2 is 4 because it's assumed that our pattern is folded into 2. So I'm going to mark it at the bust point, under bust, waist length, and hip length. That is what I'm marking right now. My bust span, I'm marking 4 inches all through the down part. I'm marking it all through. And after marking out the point, I'm going to connect all of them together with a straight line from the hip length to the waist, to the under bust and to the bust point so that we can mark out our darts. The next thing we are going to do now is to mark our dart at that waist length. So I'm going to take out 1 inch dart. So on that line, I'm going to mark ½ inch on both sides, making it total of 1 inch. That is what I'm marking. I took out ½ inch on both sides. I'm going to come up from the hip length by 2. From that hip length, I'm going to come up by 2. Then on the bust point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. I'm going to come down from the bust point by 1 inch. Then from that waist, that 1 inch that I took from the waist, I'm going to connect it like so to that 2 inches I came up from the hip length. I'm going to connect it this way. Then after that, the next thing to do is to connect to the 1 inch you came down from the bust point. you connect it to the 1 inch you came down from the bust point with a straight ruler, just like so. On this waist, my normal waist is 34 inches, but I want to snatch it to 28 inches. So this is what we are going to do now. From 34 inches, I'm going to snatch it from 34 inches to 28 inches, and 28 inches divided by 4 is 7. So I'm going to snatch it to 28 inches, and if you divide 28 inches by 4, what you have is 7. So I'm going to snatch my waistline as it is now to 7 inches. That is what I'm measuring now. I'm measuring 7 inches here. This is the 7 inches. I'm going to add back the dart I took. But before that, I'm going to measure from the dart leg towards the side to the waist line. I'm going to measure it from this dart line. I'm going to measure from that dart line to the waist, to that side waist. I'm going to measure both of them. Whatever I have, I will mark the center to get a straight line where I will take out my dart from, and the line will get up to the under bust. The line will not reach the bust point. It will stop at the under bust, as you see me mark. From the under bust to the top line, that is where the straight line will reach. Next is to measure the 7 inches we want to snatch our waist to on the waistline. You measure the 7 inches. Here I measured the 7 inches. After that, I'm going to replace the dart, the 1-inch dart that I took. I replaced the 1-inch dart I took, and after replacing the 1-inch dart, what is remaining is just 1/2 inch, and that is what we are going to use to tighten the waist at that line that I marked. We are going to add 0.25 on both sides of that line, but before then, I'm going to come up again from the top length by 2 inches. Then I'm going to mark that 1/2 inch that is remaining after marking out the 7 inches. I'm going to mark 0.25 on both sides, making it a total of 1/2 inch. I'm going to mark 0.25 on both sides. That is what I'm marking right now. And after that, I'm going to connect it to the 2 inches I came off from the top length. As you see me do, I'm going to connect it and also connect to the under bust to where the line stopped. And also connect the dart to the under bust where the line stop. Connect the both side, and after that, I'm going to shed out the dart that I took out. I'm going to shed it out. Then the next thing we are going to do is to be sure that we got exactly 7 inches, and this is the way to measure it. Ignore the darts when measuring it. This is the way to measure, and at the end of the day, we have finally snatched our waist to 7 inches. We have snatched our waist to 7 inches. The next one we are going to head over to now is the under bust. We are going to tighten our under bust too, just the same way. So on the under bust line, you measure your round under bust, and after measuring my round under bust, what that is left is 1 inch. After marking my under bust, I got 8, and it's remaining 1 inch. So I'm going to use the 1 inch that is remaining. After marking my round under bust, I have 1 inch remaining, so I'm going to share the 1 inch amongst these two dart leg here. I'm going to, from one dart leg, you're going to mark from one dart leg to out, mark 1/2 inch outside, then from another dart leg 1/2 inch outside. So I'm going to take out 1/2 inch from both sides, not from the straight line inside, from the dart leg. That is what you mark. Then from this dart leg now, I came out by 1/2 inch. That is what I'm marking right here. Then from this other that leg out there, I came out by ½ inch, not the center. I came out by ½ inch, not from the middle line. Then you connect it like so to your waistline. From that ½ inch you came out from, extend with a slanted line to the waistline. That is what you do. Connect it to the waistline. Do the same thing to the other side. Connect it to the waistline too. By so doing, we have contoured our under bust. We have tightened our under bust. This is it. We have tightened our under bust. We took out ½ inch on both sides. The 1 inch that was remaining after we marked our round under bust, we use it to tighten it. And you bring your curve ruler this way, place it this way. From that ½ inch, place your curve ruler this way and connect it to the bust point. And also connect to the other side when you are done connecting this one. Next thing to do is to come to your shoulder and divide your shoulder into 2. Whatever you got, mark it out and use a ruler to connect it to the bust point, just like so. Next, I came up from the bust point by 3 inches. That is where my yoke will be starting, and that is where I'm going to take out my dart from for the upper bust tightening. I will first draw out a straight line where I'm going to mark out the dart from. Next is to determine how much dart you are going to take out from both sides. Here I'm going to be taking out 0.75 from both sides. 0.75 from both sides. It's left for you to determine how much dart you want to take out, but here I'm marking 0.75 on both sides of the line. After taking out the dart, then use your curve ruler. Use the part that is not so curvy to connect to the bust point, as you see me do. Use the not so curvy part of your ruler and connect to the bust point, just like so. Next is to mark the bust dart from the bust point down, and the bust dart I'm going to mark out is 2 inches because the front basic bodice is half length is different from the back half length by 2 inches. You know, our front half length and the back half length is not the same. It has a difference of 2 inches. So I'm going to come down from the bust point by 2 inches and connect with a slanted line to the bust point, just like you see me do now. The next thing to do now is to mark our center cup, and the way we are going to do it is from that bust line, not the bust point, from the chest line. I'm going to come down from the chest line by ½ inch. I'm going to come down from that chest line by ½ inch. That is what I'm marking now. Then after coming down from the chest line by ½ inch, from that ½ inch I came down by, I'm going to go in from that ½ inch I came down by. I'm going to go in by ½ inch again. I came down by ½ inch from the chest line, and I'm also going to go in by ½ inch from that half. And I'm going to extend the line and mark a straight line down. I'm not actually using the straight line I came down, just using it as a guide. Then I'll bring my curve ruler and connect to that ½ inch I came in by. As you see me do now, from the under bust I connected to that ½ inch I came in by. I use my curve ruler and connect. This is how you do it. Next is to work on the down part before creating the side cup. From my top length, I'm going to come out from my top length by 3 inches, just as you see me do. I came out by 3 inches from that top length. And after that, I'm going to bring my curve ruler and connect from the waist with a curve to the 3 inches extension I came out from by the top length. That is what I'm marking right now. I'm going to highlight the line so that you see it very well. I'm highlighting the line for you to see the curve. You can use any style you want, but this is how I want my down part to be. You can use your creative ability. This is where your artistic design comes out. Style it as you want. It's all your choice. So after marking it this way, I'm going to measure from that waist to the down part. I got 7.5 inches and I'm going to mark it all through and connect it just like you see me do. I'm going to mark it from that place to and connect it just like so. Connect it this way. Then after that I'm going to cut out that down part. I'm going to cut it out first before I create the shape I want for my down part. Then from that down part I came up by 2 inches. I came up by 2 inches again. Here I'm just sketching the design I want. I'm just sketching how I want that down part. I was sketching and cleaning. That was the essence I used pencil for this drafting because I will be cleaning some parts. So this is the design I want for my down part. So I'm going to cut it out now. This is how I want my down part to be. The next thing I'm going to do is to split open that bust span line. I'm going to split it open up to the bust point and stop, so that I will close my bust dart. I just split open that line and I'm going to close my bust dart this way. Just close it on top of each other just this way. And I'm going to use my masking tape to hold it down. Here I'm using my masking tape to hold it down. And after that, I'm going to blend the side properly because when you close the dart, the side will shorten, so I'm blending it out properly. I'm going to divide from that armhole line to the end part just this way. I got 2. I'm going to dividing it. I got 1. So from that 1, I'm going to come down by ½ inch. After coming down by ½ inch, I'm going to bring my curve ruler and connect from that ½ inch I came down to the underboard just this way. That is how to mark the side cup. That is how I got my side cup. I'm going to blend out the line properly so that you see it very well. Next is to mark the upper part of your cup. It is also left for you to determine the shape you want for the top part of your cup. And here, this is how I'm placing my curve ruler to give it the shape I want for the upper part of my cup. This is how I'm placing it. You can choose to style your cup anyhow you want. This is it. I'm going to blend out the line very well so that you will see it very well. Next thing I did is to extend that line I came down by towards the side. That ½ inch I came down, I extended it towards the side. Then next is to create the style of the yoke we want. From that starting line at that shoulder line, I came down by 1.5 inches. I came down by 1.5 inches. Next is from that center front, I went in by 1 inch. As you can see me pointing, I went in from the center front by 1 inch, and I'm going to connect it to my neck width just like you see me do. I went in by 1 inch and I'm connecting it to the neck width on top of the bust cup as you see me do now. Then after that, on both sides, then from that line I drew from the shoulder to the bust point, I came in, I marked 1.5 on both sides. From that line I marked from the shoulder to the bust point, I came in by 1.5 inches from both sides. And after marking the 1.5, I'm going to connect from the 1.5 I came down from the shoulder. I'm going to connect to the 1.5 I went in at the upper part of my bust cup just like you see me do. I came in by 1.5 inch on the shoulder, and from the top part of my cup I went in by 1.5. I'm going to connect it this way with a slanted line just like you see me do. And this part I'm shading out now is going to be cut out. It's no longer included. All these parts I'm shading out now is going to be cut out. It's not going to be included. This part and the other parts. Next is at this shoulder slant you see me pointing right now. To avoid gaping at that shoulder, I'm going to come down by ½ inch and connect to with a slanted line to my to the neck width. I'm going to connect it to my neck width. It's not a must, it's optional. You can leave it if you want, but that is how I want it to be. Then as you can see, our pattern is almost ready. As you can see, our front pattern is almost ready. We are going to cut it out now and head over to the back. This is it. I did not add any sewing allowance to this pattern I just drafted. All the sewing allowance will be added to the fabric while cutting it on fabric. And here we are done cutting. This is the side front, middle front, center front, side cup, center cup, and the yoke all together. 3 pieces. The front is going to be 3 pieces with the 2 cup and the yoke. Now let's head over to the back. Here, this is the pattern for the back. I've gone ahead to mark the top length. I'm just drawing out the waist line here. I'm highlighting the top length that I already marked. This is the neck width, the chest line, the armhole, and the shoulder slant. I've already marked all those things. The basic is almost the same thing I did for the front, but for the back armhole, I did not come in by ½ inch. I just measured my round bust and make a curve at that round bust. Here I've measured my round bust at 9.5, just like I did at the front, and at my waist I'm also measuring the same round bust at my waist, but for the top length I measured my round hip there. I'm going to connect all the line just like we did at the front. I measured my round bust at the chest line, at the waistline, but when I got to the top length I measured my round hip there and connected with a line the same way we did for the front. Then at that waistline I came in by 1 inch, same way we did for the front, and I connected with a slanted line to the chest line, just like you see me mark now, just like you see me marking now. I came in by 1 inch at the waistline, just the same everything we did at the front. The back is not that complicated. I came in by, I marked the same round bust at my waist, 9.5, and next is to bring my curve ruler, and just like the same way I did at the front, I'm going to connect it this way as you see me do. Everything I did at the front is the same thing I'm doing at this back. I'm just highlighting it now for you to see, and the first line will be cut off. That first line I drew, I'm going to cut it out. This is it. After that, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to place my tail from the center back to the side way, just like so, and divide it from this center front to the side waist. I'm going to divide it and mark the center, but before connecting with a line from the chest line, I came down by ½ inch. That is where my back yoke will start from. After coming down by ½ inch from the chest line, I drew a line, and after drawing out the line at that center I marked, I connected with a straight line to the top length from the ½ inch I came down from. Then after that, on that waist I'm going to mark out ½ inch on both sides. I'm going to take out a total of 1 inch dart, and I mark ½ inch dart on both sides, and I also came up by 2 inches from the top length, and I connected it to the 1 inch dart I marked, and I also connected it to that upper part where my back yoke will start from, just like you see me do. Just like we did for the front, we're going to snatch our waist to 7 inches the same way we did to the front. So we're first going to mark out the 7 inches. This is the 7 inches, and after that we're going to replace the 1 inch that we already took. And after replacing the 1 inch that we already took, as you see me mark, this is 7 inches. Replacing the 1 inch that, we are just left with ½ inch, as you can see at that waist. Then at that top part, I'm going to mark 1.5 inches at the top part, and I'm going to connect from the 1.5 inches to the ½ inch at the waist and to the top length with a slanted line, just as you see me pointing right now. I'm going to connect from the 1.5 inches at the top to the half-inch at the waist and to the top line just with a slanted line, just this way. I want my back, the opening at my back, to be slanted just like so. That is what I want. I don't want it to be that open at the down part, just slanted just this way. So at this point now, we have finally snatched our waist to 7 inches. As you can see, we have taken out the half-inch that is remaining, and our waist is now 7 inches. I'm going to cut out all this shaded part that I'm showing you right now. Next is to bring our front bodice that we cut, the front part that we cut. We're going to bring it and place it this way. That's the side front, the middle front, and the center front. The three of them now together. I'm going to align it properly and trace out the sides and the down part, because I want the front and the back to be accurate and the same. So I'm going to trace out the shape I have at the front. I'm going to trace it just the same way at the back, so that the back and the front will have the same shape, as you can see me do. That is what I'm doing. And after tracing out the shape, I'm going to highlight it very well for us to see, and that is it. This is the center back, and that is the side back, as you can see me writing out now. Then next is the yoke. For us to determine the shape you want for our yoke, it is your choice to determine the style you want for your back yoke. And here I just want something simple. As you can see me sketching, this is what I want my back yoke to look like. And we are almost done with our back. This is the back yoke. We are done with the back. It is now time for us to cut. And after cutting, as you can see, this is what we have: 2 pieces for the back and the yoke. This is what we have. So the next thing we are going to do now is to cut on our fabric. I did not add any allowance to at the back while drafting. Every allowance that we are going to add will be on the fabric. So let's head over now and cut on our fabric. Here, as you can see, I've placed my pattern on the fabric I want to use to make the dress, and I've added half-inch allowance all around. The only place I added 1 inch was at the side, just this way. At this side is the only place I added 1 inch, but all the other places I added half-inch. But the side front and the side back, I added 1 inch for the sewing allowance, but all other sides I added only half-inch, all the other side for joining to the other piece. So we are going to head over now and start cutting. That is why I was telling you that I did not add any sewing allowance to the pattern, but I'm going to add it on the fabric. This is it. All the sides I added half-inch, but only towards the side front and the side back I added 1 inch for stitching allowance. Cutting all our patterns. This is what we have. All our patterns are ready. I cut all of them in twos, double. This is the middle front, the side front. I've also gone ahead to cut the lining, and these are the cups. This is the side cup and this is the center cup. I cut all of them in twos, as you can see. The 2 lining and the 2 main fabric, I've gone ahead to cut all of them this way. And for the yoke I'm using the same Ankara for the yoke. I cut the yoke in 4 because I want to use one to turn for the other. As you can see, the yoke is in 4 places. I'm going to use one to turn the other, and I did the same thing for the front yoke. As you can see, all my patterns, I cut all of them in 2, and I've cut the line in 2. So the next thing now is for us to head over and start joining all our pieces together. But that will be a separate video, which is the part 2 of this tutorial. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel at this point, please subscribe, like, comment and share. That is the only way others will be able to benefit from this video. See you in the sewing video. Bye.